My name is Edward. I'm an addict. Sobriety, that darn word that I've come to identify so closely with in the past 2 years. Every time I'm asked to a drink or even to a cigarette, I decline. I don't always say that I am sober and that I go to meetings. But I do have to decline a well-intentioned offer to drink over a meal or a gathering. I sometimes wonder if I am missing out on the regular activities of an adult in his mid-20s. While my friends are drinking and going out clubbing, I forgo those activities to stay at home and go to meetings. There is a world of difference from when I started to stop drinking and when I started to accept and surrender to my higher power. I accept that I am an addict, that my life became unmanageable after the use of drugs. I was so sick in my addiction that I was in a state where I thought using drugs was better than being clean. During my first year sober, I missed the highs and lows that accompany the use of drugs. My life was in a pit. I didn't think that I could crawl out of the hole that I dug myself into. My friends had abandoned me. Nobody was asking me to work for them. And the few people that I reached to neglected their relations with me and would not have anything to do with me. So to my chagrin, I realized that this was a path that I would have to walk alone. Or at least in the beginning, I thought so. My best friends, the friends that I used drugs with, saw the length that I had fallen and how ruinous my addict behavior was. They were keeping away with a 10-foot pole. My whole life that I had built around the use of marijuana was knocked down. And the castle that I thought was going to be my foundation turned out to have been built on sand. But God was kind. At the beginning, I had skepticism that even the most powerful higher power could not help my current situation. But through reading and partaking in meetings, I began to be confronted with an inevitable conclusion. There was something working in the lives of the addicts and alcoholics around me. I was seeing God work through these people by seeing their new lives and their newfound freedom. They were living a life that I wanted to live, straddling recovery, all while balancing the necessities and rigors of daily living. Some of these people returned to their careers. Others found a different path. But regardless of circumstance, they trusted God above all. I am at times tempted to use drugs. I want to take a puff out of what the guy on the street is smoking. Still, I feel the pull of that sweet, sweet marijuana smoke. I swim through the wafts of smoke as people smoke next to the screen. I remember the late nights smoking weed to keep ourselves awake and having fun. Those memories are bittersweet. The times connecting with friends over a common drug. I think fondly of times when we would drive to a mountain view in Beverly Hills and overlook the city as we were sharing a joint. It all seemed so harmless then. I thought, I can stop anytime I want to. I thought that I could enjoy it as other people do. But little did I know the pull and draw marijuana had on me. But I cannot forget the dark depths that drugs have led me to. I was staying up late at night, running around proselytizing strangers on the street, thinking that I was some sort of prophet set before the coming of Jesus Christ. And the world was going to end. I remember getting into an Uber thinking that the world was going to end. I even told the driver as such. I told him straight up, tonight is the last day of the world. That he had better prepare for the time to come. I even walked from Culver City to Santa Monica overnight. I started at 4 a.m. in the morning and walked till 7 a.m. till I made it to the Santa Monica Pier. I remember sitting in the bedroom of my apartment that I shared with a roommate. I had my own room and place, but I had reached the limits. I couldn't borrow any more out of a maxed out credit card. I had my possessions, but I couldn't dream of selling my iMac or my headphones to buy more drugs. I had come to a turning point. I would either let this addiction seriously encumber my progress in society and in spiritual worlds, or I could rise out of the hole that I had been digging. As they say in the rooms, you hit bottom when you stop digging. And I was sick and tired of the life I was living. I could barely put together enough money to buy an In-N-Out hamburger. At that point, I was trying to scrape by. I was even thinking of working at Jack in the Box or at Staples to eke out a living. I was seriously considering taking any job to further my drug habit. I couldn't imagine a life without drugs. I needed a joint at every point in the day. Every hour or two, I would need to step outside and take a drag. Even at work, I was taking coffee breaks every hour to puff on an electric vaporizer. It was a solution to everything. When I was stressed, smoke. When I couldn't handle life, smoke. When I didn't want to be somewhere, smoke. Even when my friends and I bought Korean barbecue, I would step out every 15 minutes to smoke a spliff. Weed rolled with tobacco. I remember my rock bottom. It was in the apartment bedroom that I had managed to rent for 3 months. I had a place before, but I had to move out because of a toxic relationship with an ex-friend. I remember being surrounded by all these useless things. Magic the Gathering cards, Jesus candles, but mostly over 2,000 Magic the Gathering cards that I had accumulated within the span of a month. I felt like I was being tormented and that there were spiritual beings hovering over me and battling for my soul. I truly felt that there was a spiritual bout that I was a part of. I thought I was key to opening heaven's gates for Jesus' second coming. Okay, that's a little crazy. But okay. But I've come to realize that God uses every one of us. No matter how broken we are, no matter how much money we make, God still values and treasures each and every one of us. And as long as we live and preach the gospel through our actions, God will bless us. We have to obey His commandments and maintain a right relationship with Him through prayer and meditation, the 12th step. And good things will come. That's what I'm struggling most with right now. I believe God and that He has the power to redeem me. But I have lost what I thought was most precious to me. My relationship with my significant other is tattered, but I believe God has the power to restore this as well. Maybe that is all in God's design and purpose. That maybe what I wanted in the past is not good for me in the present. That was a past life, and I have to live with the consequences of my actions. But I know and I feel that God has me in His hands. That He didn't save me from the dark places of the world so I could live in a spiritually vegetative state. I truly believe that God saved me for a purpose. It might not be a great purpose or a purpose where I affect a generation with my art, but that God has me in the right place and time, no matter what. I believe I am a child of God, and I hope you believe so too. Thank you. Okay.